First, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. I am so proud of you, of everything that you've done. Before we start talking about this great show that you've been doing, and by the way, my mother watches all the time and she loves the show. Um, how does it feel knowing that, growing up, you became such a role model for so many people for all the things that you've done, you've represented, and also shown that there's no such thing as a glass ceiling because you seem to always break it every time you decide to put your mind to whatever you want.
That's very sweet of you. I mean, I'm very grateful for everything I get to do in my life. I made a decision years back to follow my dreams, follow my passions, to step outside of my comfort zone. And it's really cool that doing that also allowed me to inspire other people. Because truthfully, I can't truthfully say that I ever set out to be a role model and ever think I could have the ability to be a role model. I really was just being unapologetically myself and constantly pushing boundaries for me in my own life. And it's really cool to see and meet other people that are like, I stepped out of my comfort zone because I saw you do it. That's just an added lovely bonus of my journey that I don't take lightly. I think that's definitely the coolest part of my career.
What you also don't take lightly is your fans. Why is it that you've done so many amazing things, right down to interviewing The Rock one-on-one in person in his, at this height? You still treat people exactly the same you have from the first moment that I met you, when a lot of people only knew you from social media.
Well, that's very sweet. I'm glad you think so. It is very important to me to, I don't know, kindness has always been really important to me. And I think it's especially become more important to me as I've gone further in this industry, because I'm a very reflective person in the sense of, like, I like to, this can sound really silly, but I like to think a lot. I like to reflect on my day. I like to be aware of my surroundings. I like to think about what I like about my day, don't like about my day, about the industry I'm in. And I've analyzed my industry a lot. And I think this industry I'm in, it is the perfect recipe to distort your mind a little bit, to make you think that it's okay to treat people a certain way, to speak to people a certain way because of how I'm treated on a set. I'll be fully transparent. I walk into a set and usually people will cater to me. Usually they will stop what they're doing, they'll come to me. So it's very easy when you're in that position to be like, oh, I'm more important. I can talk to people a certain way. I can do things a certain way that otherwise wouldn't be acceptable. It's very easy to fall into that trap. So to counteract that, I really do place major importance into kindness. Just like making sure when I walk into a room, regardless of which crew member it is, like talking to people like I would want to be talked to, treating people like human beings. Because every part of this industry encourages me to be the opposite, honestly.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. Generations love you, which is why this is the perfect show for you that you've been hosting. For folks who may not have realized that you are a host of that word Generations, what's the show called and what is it about? How does it bring generations together?
So I host an amazing new pop culture trivia game show called Battle of the Generations. It's four contestants facing off. A contestant that is a Gen Z, a millennial, a Gen Xer, and a boomer all face off. It is, there you go. They all face off in pop culture trivia. But the thing is, I know you might be like, well, isn't that going to be easy to answer questions from your own generation? No, you not only have to answer questions from your own generation, but you have to answer questions from other generations as well. And ultimately, there's one person left, and they face the vault for their chance to win $25,000.
I feel like this show came about, and I'm going to blame my generation because a lot of times when we hear the younger generation, first off, we're going, what the heck are they talking about? But then when we get into our own conversations and mention famous groups or events or whatever, they're looking at us going, what are you talking about? Like just this thing, for example, certain generations aren't going to know what the heck this is, whereas baby boomers know exactly what it is. Is that how the show actually developed?
No idea what that is.
I'll tell you later on, but boomers know what this is.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what's cool. Even from the beginning of my career till right now, I've always loved to make content that allows for families to co-view it. Even back in the day when I made YouTube videos, one of the best compliments I received was, me and my mom religiously watch your videos. Like, we don't watch anything else together, but when it comes to your videos, we love watching them together. And I feel like that's what I love about this show. It is, the format lends itself so well to family viewing, where you get the whole family together, you can watch the show, you can argue with each other, play against each other, you can yell at the TV. It's going back to that magic, nostalgic feeling of like watching things together with your family.
What have been some of the most priceless moments for you on the show where maybe somebody answered something, you're going, what? Like you knew what it was, but they gave some weird answer. I see you shaking your head.
So there's been a lot. Like, because you have to understand that I don't actually know the answers in advance. I'm playing the game with the contestants. And every
Mhm.
once in a while, question comes up, and I know the answer just from my own experience. And it's hard for me to keep a poker face because the contestant has said the most ridiculous answer ever. I'll give you one. One of the rapid fire questions was, what is the real name of artist born like Destiny, Hope Cyrus, or something like that? Don't quote me exactly. Cyrus is in the question. You know what this contestant guessed? Beyonce.
I would have figured that.
Oh, what? What is thinking right now? So when I hear things like that, I have, like, in some episodes, I truly just drop to the ground, and I'm like, I can't. I'm staging a walkout. I can't even believe that you answered this question that way. So it gets wild.
Now, I know, like you said, we got all these different generations. Is there ever a chance two things may be happening? Number one, are we going to ever get a celebrity version of the show happening in the future? And also, will we ever have family generations going against each other?
It's so interesting you bring up both of these things, because these are both ideas that, I have the honor of being an executive producer on the show as well, not just the host. And so we have had these conversations, and should we be lucky enough to make more of the show, those ideas are definitely on our radar, because I agree. I think it would be so fun to watch celebrities, especially like some beloved Canadian celebrities. I think it would be so great. You get boomers, you could go Howie Mandel, you could go Jim Carrey, Gen Z, you got the Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, you got Avril Lavigne across generations, you got Nelly Furtado. There's so many great people I would love to see on the show. You know why? Because a lot of questions are also about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how does somebody get on the show? Like how do we try out for this?
You gotta apply, ctv.ca, you gotta apply, and I believe you have to do a little bit of a test to prove that you're worthy of being on the show. And I suggested to the other producers that I should do that test to see if I would even be worthy of the show. I won't brag, okay? But when I was learning the format of the show, because it's a brand new format, there's new rules, things to get used to. I actually did a practice game where I played it to understand the workings of the game. And I played against my team, like members of my team. I don't want to brag, but your girl won. I'm just saying, that's neither here nor there. But I feel like I could pass the test to get on the show.
What is it that you hope that when folks are seeing this that they get from this show? Because I think for me, one of the most important things is what a way to bring family together.
Totally. Not only that, I think, historically, trivia games, at least in my experience, they've been more on the serious side. And also for me, they've been more on the unattainable side. Growing up watching trivia shows, I never knew the answer to these really difficult questions. And I wanted to create a show. I wanted to be part of a show that everyone could participate in. And I'll selfishly even say that I always think about making content that is representative of the world. Not only do I want the contestants to be diverse, but I want the questions to be diverse. I want to know that someone like my parents can watch the show and they will know some of the answers to these questions. And so I think that's really important, is that perhaps maybe trivia shows weren't always the most accessible, but this is pop culture trivia. It's colorful, it's bright, it's silly, it's goofy, it's fun, and it's accessible.
Last question. Any chance growing up, I remember these shows would be board games. Any chance this could be an online game?
I mean, listen, that's the dream, baby. I would love for, I think this show has so much potential. I mean, we just are in the first season, and or when you make any show, it takes a while to like figure out the kinks and get the flow and get the vibe. For this first couple episodes that have come out to be as good as they are, in my opinion, is really impressive. And that's kudos to the entire team behind the scenes that works so hard on the show. I mean, it looks amazing. The graphics are amazing. It's just a beautiful set. But I agree. I think it has a lot of potential to become a board game, and app, all those things. So fingers crossed that that's the direction this is headed.
Fantastic. Look, like I said, so proud of you. Congratulations and all your success. And hopefully one of these questions will be, what the heck is this? Because I'd love to hear what the answer is. I will tell you the answer when we're done. But
All right.
one person actually, I remember a youngin, and I can call him a youngin because I'm old, actually thought that this was a Star Trek Klingon weapon, and it's not.
That would be
I'll
my guess.
leave it to that. Like I said, so proud of you. Congratulations, and cannot wait to see what season 2 is going to be all about.